All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday morning. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. I do pray everybody is blessed in many ways as the Bitcoin price is doing what the Bitcoin price does, y'all. Chopping up everybody on a weekend. And here we are on a Monday, ready for the next big move. And let me tell you, this week is going to be absolutely massive, bigger than anything we've ever seen before. We've never seen anything like this before. So make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to click the dang bell for notifications, because we are bringing you the juiciest Bitcoin live streams here on YouTube. And a friendly reminder from POTUS himself.
Make sure to like and subscribe to Jason Casper. He's the best YouTube trader in the world. He's getting huge. Shout out to the Casper crew.
And of course, we got to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, shout out to Bout, who says Bitcoin. Shout out to MVK, who says fake out, weekend pump went crazy. Shout out to Samuel Cave with the smiley face. And a major shout out to Crypto Coons, holding it down as a moderator. God bless you, my man. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to Annabelle, Manuel, Psyop Cat, like the friggin' stream. Shout out to Giovanni Farr. Shout out to Mr. Whale. All right, y'all. Major shout out to French Toaster. What's going on? And Eagle. What is going on? And Ape. What is going on? And Eddie. What is going on? Major shout out to Preparing for War. What's going on, bro? God bless you, man. Thank you so much for popping on in. And we also got to give a major shout out to Michael Koch. Hey, one of the first 100 likes, baby. Let's go. And as usual, if we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. So make sure to like the stream if you like USDT. And if you hate USDT and you're a Bitcoin onlyist, like the stream anyway, because what you can do is take the 1,000 USDT and buy yourself some dang Bitcoin. Also, got to give a major shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord, jasoncaspertrading.com, best trading community in the world. Got to give a shout out to Antarctic Exchange, decentralized exchange, lowest fees, period, if you sign up using the link in the description. Also got to give a major shout out to BLOFIN. BLOFIN, great deal on fees. 10% cash back, $1,000 future bonus, chance to win all these prizes, plus, like I said, you get VIP level 3 or level 4 fees. I forget if you use my link. And they do $100 giveaways multiple times a month. You don't even have to deposit. So, the Bitcoin price, guys, chopping around the weekend range. We've simply just taken the liquidity from that high right here, and we have come back down into the range. We're currently right now finding support at the value area low of the range after taking all the liquidity from this little move to the upside here, guys. So, I mean, really, when we think about it, going back to the Friday, May 17th, I guess that's Saturday, we just took all the weekend liquidity. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. But this happened on a Friday, I'm pretty sure, going into the weekend this last time. And so basically, the Bitcoin whales doing what the Bitcoin whales do, guys. They take the liquidity, they chop everybody up. And if you were here yesterday, this is literally one of the things we were saying we need to be looking out for, especially on a weekend. And guys, if you want to learn how to trade so you don't get chopped up, check out the free course. On my YouTube channel, we got an 18-part course for free. Make sure to check that out. So, the big question on everyone's mind right now is, what is going to happen to Bitcoin? What is going to happen to Bitcoin? What is going to happen to Bitcoin right now? All right, we are coming up to a crucial area on the chart. I mean, crucial. We are knocking on the door of all-time high right now. And my next take profit on this juicy long trade, $117,500, breaking out of this massive range to hit a new all-time high. Is it going to happen? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what are the next juicy trades that personally, I myself am looking for. So, going to be looking at Bitcoin, going to be looking at Ethereum. This is quite interesting, guys. This is quite interesting. All right, let's take a look on over at TradingView. Make sure to smash up the likes. We got 700 people in the house. Let's see if we can't get 700 likes And we got to give a major shout out to HFG, my man, with the super chat coming in. God bless you, HFG. Thank you so much for being here, man. Those candles on the 4-hour were wild. Bitcoin D wrecking alts. Shout out to Get Served yesterday with some disgusting manipulation. Was it really though? Or was it just normal weekend price action? It was just normal weekend price action, man. Come on, look at this. Look at this. Look at this, guys. We're literally on just a sideways range. Nothing crazy. There's literally nothing crazy about this. All right? Ain't nothing crazy about this. It's just normal. This is just normal. All right? Now, let's pop on over to the Bitcoin chart. First of all, what do we notice here is that we are finding resistance at resistance. It's the first very important thing to keep our eyes on here, guys, is resistance at resistance. Why is this so important? Because people get bullish at the highs. Resistance at resistance. Ain't nothing too crazy about it, all right? Now, there's a few things we need to understand about what's happening here. First of all, we are coming to a key level of resistance, this green box on the chart. What do we have here that would make the Bitcoin price find some resistance here? Well, we have a few things. First of all, we have the value area high of the macro range. This is the fair value zone of Bitcoin ever since Trump wins the election. You know, the fair value zone was between 105,000 and basically 90,000, where anytime the price comes above this area is considered overvalued. We look to sell, we look to short, back down to the bottom of the range. Whenever it comes to the bottom of the range, it's considered undervalued. We look to buy, we look to long, back to the top of the range. Second thing we have here is the Fibonacci 886, all right? A very deep fib level, but nonetheless, we've seen it be respected many times before. For example, back in the 2024 range that we had here, we saw the Fibonacci 886 level be respected multiple times. We saw it be respected right here. In fact, we saw it respected once again right over here. The second time, 886 respected. Interestingly enough, we take a look here at the 886, pull it from here to here. Yeah, would you look at that? Like, it's respected as support as well. So we have two areas of confluence here. The second thing that happened here that gave us such a move to the downside yesterday is whenever you have a big runaway move on a weekend, guys, you have to expect that we're going to give that back. So we had the perfect storm of weekend pump, then we get daily open, and boom, we get a move to the downside. The third thing we had here is this. All right, look at this, guys. We've got liquidity right here. These wicks, these are stop losses. Right here, these are stop losses. People have been short. They have their stop losses above these highs, meaning if we dip into these areas, there's going to be a whole bunch of people stop out. And when you have a whole bunch of stop losses, basically what that does is causes the price to get a little bit of a reversal. So let's understand the context here of this move, because people are getting a little bit nervous. People are getting a little bit scared. We got one purple candle. People freaking out. They're losing their minds. All right. Now, I do want to point out something, which is this. Last time we were at major resistance, what did we do? We put in a little bit of a range here. We took the high, we made a higher low, and then boom. So far, all we've done here is we put in a little bit of a range. We take the high, so far making a high or low. There's nothing to be crazy scared about yet. When we look at the weekly time frame, actually, let's start on the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame right now, in my opinion, looks bullish. We've got the green dot printing on the monthly time frame, the yellow VWAP crossing over the zero line, the money flow getting thicker. Historically speaking, This is a very bullish signal, which means the rest of this month and next month will be bullish. Now, before you hit the dang long button 100x leverage full account, let's just keep in mind that a bullish monthly chart doesn't mean that we can't do something like this, right? And still end up next month higher than we did this month. In fact, let's just look at the weekly candle, all right? The weekly candle last week was pretty bullish looking, right? But the week opened up, and guess what? We got a drop to the downside of 3%. So, you know, just because it was looking bullish last week, if you had just 100x long full account, you would have gotten liquidated, right? Now, when we look at the weekly chart, what are we seeing here? We're seeing that there is some potential for topping within the next few weeks. When we take a look at the 2-day time frame, here's where things get interesting. In my opinion, this money flow here is going to be key for the rest of this week. We want to see the 2-day money flow not getting lower here, right? It was looking real good as we crossed into the blue. We don't want to see this this purple money flow getting lower. We especially don't want to see it lower than it was back here on May 5th. All right, we come to our daily time frame. What do we see? Well, we see some bearish divs starting to form here. Money flow is still holding up good. Yellow oscillator, it's playing games with our heart here. All right, it's playing games with our heart on the daily time frame. So I am focused right now, understanding that the higher time frames are bullish. The monthly, the weekly, the 2-week are bullish. I'm focused now on these medium time frames, the daily and lower. All right, the daily and lower. Now we also understand the overall context of this move happened with a very bullish bottom. This right here was an extremely bullish divergence, something like we've never seen in quite some time. We have not seen a divergence this bullish in quite some time, where we have that big, juicy left momentum wave, that skinny right momentum wave, aka the uneven butt cheek pattern. Big on the left side, nice and juicy. Skinny on the right side to round out the booty. All right? Left side is full of gravy, ricotta cheese. I made my kids some homemade pizza last night. Let me tell you, I was thinking about that left butt cheek as I put the sauce on the dang pizza, put the cheese on, and let me tell you, I don't eat pizza, okay? I don't eat pizza, so when I'm making this pizza, I'm vicariously living through my children and through this left butt cheek. I'm telling you, man, I love pizza, but I don't eat it, right? So I'm putting the cheese on, I'm thinking, I'm thinking about that left butt cheek. Then I made my wife a vegan gluten-free pizza. All right, and I was thinking about that right cheek. All right, vegan gluten-free versus the good old ricotta cheese, extra virgin olive oil leaking out the dang butt cheek. All right, this symbolizes a very nice bottom and most likely a new all-time high coming in. All right. So what that means is I'm in buy the dip mode. Now, as we come down to our 6 hour, we are seeing a few warning signs here. On our 6 hour, as the price is making the higher high into key resistance, we're seeing the momentum waves and the money flow getting lower. All right. This, of course, is giving us the scary upside down Sandbankman Fried bearish man boot pattern. Whereas the price is making higher highs into key resistance, the man boobs, the red pepperoni nips, the money flow, even the hair getting lower over time. Bearish divergences. All right. We go to our 4 hour. What do we see on the 4 hour? Same kind of thing. All right. Sandbankman Fried, upside down, money flow, momentum waves. Okay. So here's what I am personally feeling about this. Higher time frames, absolutely bullish. Lower time frames right now, symbolizing a pullback, could be happening. All right. Now, when you have a sideways range like this is a trader's playground. All right. When I see something like this, I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Man, I just can't believe how awesome it is to see a sideways range. Why? Because a sideways range is a trader's playground. When you form a high of a sideways range, is my voice cracking? Look, guys, I haven't hit puberty yet, so give me a break. When you have a range high, when you have a range low, these are the juicy areas where you look for a trade. When you're in a bull flag, looking for a breakout, you want to be aware of the highs and the lows of the range, because that's oftentimes where you get a good move in. All right, now of course, if you're in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, you know, we give the setups in between these ranges to try and get in, right? But on the higher term analysis, just basically looking at this, the two best places to be looking for a trade right now would be up here, which currently we're getting moved down, and then down here, all right? Wreck the shorts, wreck all the longs, and then get the real move. Bitcoin loves to do that. Bitcoin loves to do that. All right? We see this over and over again. Look at this. Look at this, right? Wreck the longs, wreck the shorts, and then we get our real move, right? Look at this. Look at this. Wreck all the longs, and then we get our real move, all right? We didn't get a chance to wreck the shorts here. The shorts have just wrecked totally, right? Which is also showing us that this could be a nice real reversal. I mean, we see this all the time. Look at this, man. You know what I'm saying? Even right here. Look what happened last time with the 886. We had our first high, we wreck them all, then we come down, and what do we do to all the longs? We wreck them, right? So this pattern plays out, it doesn't matter what time frame you're on. This is why sideways ranges are a trader's playground. So if we're going to get more of a pullback here, we have to be aware of basically the $100,000 level. Coming to the $100,000 level for a fake out very similar to what we had here. Now, how are we going to know if we're going to get a fake out from here? Right? How are we going to know? Because if you long this, you might be a little bit crazy, you know? Whew, man, speaking of crazy, this Market Cipher mug coffee is crazy good. Man, I love coffee from my Market Cipher mug. All right? MarketCipherTrading.com. Link in the description, I think. I don't know. I forget if I copy and pasted it over to the new video. I don't know. Either way, it's a great indicator. My favorite indicator. Shout out to CryptoFace and Flop and Groper. Man, does this treadmill go any faster? Because this caffeine is pumping, baby. All right? How are we going to know if, because, you know, we do have some bearish news. Let's be honest here. Over last weekend, we had the bearish news about the U.S. dang economy, which is no longer their credit score. Who even cares? Something bearish happened with the United States credit score. Big surprise. Big surprise. A country whose debt is higher than the world's GDP for the past 5,000 years has bad credit. Who would have thought that? Sheesh. But that's besides the point. This means if New York opens, Asia opened and we got a big dump. If New York opens in 2 hours and we get another dump, this can be the first place that we look for that reversal. How are we going to know? We're going to be looking at Market Cipher. Right now, the 4-hour time frame is setting us up for a potential, as you see here, uneven butt cheek pattern. All right? Let's go to the 6-hour. Look at this. If we print a momentum wave that is just in line with these three here, that is going to be a quite bullish pattern. All right? That's going to be a quite bullish pattern. It's not quite an uneven butt cheek pattern because we got 1, 2, that'll be 3 cheeks. But maybe it's a tricheecular bullish divergence. All right? If we come down here, because we might be finding our bottom now. Remember, we're holding value area low, and we took the weekend liquidity already. So this could be a potential bottom here with bullish divergence already, okay? But if you're not already long here, it's a little bit risky in my opinion, but who knows, right? I'm not a financial advisor. We come down here, we take the liquidity. We want to see the price come back above the level with the bullish divergences on the 6-hour time frame. We want to see it on our 4-hour time frame. And as we come lower down, like to our 24-minute time frame, we also want to see the bullish divergences, right? Because you might see a divergence on a high time frame and think, ooh, a divergence. But remember, when you're on a high time frame, the resolution is very low. You can't see the detail. So the way you determine whether or not a divergence is legit or not is by going to lower time frames. If the lower time frames are confirming what the higher time frame looks like, you know it's legit. If the high time frame is looking like this, all right, and then you come to the lower time frames and it's not looking like that, and the momentum's getting lower and the money flow is getting lower, it's like, all right, it looks like it could be a divergence on the higher time frame, but it's probably going to turn into something called a butt cheek blowout. All right, a butt cheek blowout. What is a butt cheek blowout? It's this. A butt cheek blowout is when, you know, have you guys ever seen, it's all the rage right now, all right? It's all the rage right now for, and I don't really know why this is. You know what? Looks like we're not going to talk about a butt cheek blowout today. Alright, we can talk about a butt cheek blowout. A butt cheek blowout, guys, is when somebody, usually a female, is trying to improve the look of the gluteus maximi, right? And they really want it to have that nice uneven pattern, something like this. And instead of taking the proper channels, like going to the gym and only working out the left glute, they try and do it by injecting Fix-A-Flat into the butt cheek. Okay, now that can lead to an injury. For example, right here, this woman, fake doctor, injected Fix-A-Flat to try and get uneven butt cheeks. It led to a butt cheek blowout. All right, the butt cheek is getting bigger on the right side. Look at this, small cheek on the left, big cheek on the right. All right, this is a classic butt cheek blowout. So you got to go down to those lower time frames to determine whether or not it's actually going to be the divergence or the blowout. All right, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. All right, now, if we don't get a fake out here, then the next major support is going to be our Fibonacci, is going to be at $97,000. $97,000 right now is going to be absolutely key if we don't just get a simple fake out here. The reason why is because, number one, if we take a Fibonacci from the low to the high, we put on our 618 and our 0.65 golden pocket, it's literally the local Fibonacci golden pocket and the highest volume node. All right, why is the high volume node so important here? It's because this is where, historically speaking, for the past 6-7 months, the market has considered the price of Bitcoin to be fair value. In other words, the reason why this is an important support or resistance is because historically, like for example, when you're below that area, people who maybe they bought Bitcoin unknowingly that it was at fair price, they thought it was going to pump, then they're holding it in the red and they're like, whew, let me get out at fair value. It's where most people bought and sold Bitcoin. So most people are buying here expecting the big pump. They get a big dump. Then they're like, whew, that was a close one. Let me get out at break even. All right. Now, right here, this is going to be the opposite of that, right? This is where the market's going to determine, is this still fair price for Bitcoin? Or is this a low price for Bitcoin? What used to be considered fair value, is this now considered low value? And if people start buying here, if people are like, man, I missed my shot, I wish I could get into Bitcoin at a dip, and man, it's back down below 100K, let me buy some, this is where the market, as a collective, is going to determine. It's called a retest. We're retesting this level to see, is it legit or not? This is going to be the next place to look for that bounce, in keeping with the uptrend, because it is an uptrend. We got ourselves our low, our high, our higher low, our higher high, our higher low, our higher high. This would be another higher low. And then we would look for a higher high. Or, here's the thing. Something else we could look for is this. All right. But either way, the next very key level is $97,000. And of course, the level don't mean a peak if it ain't got that cheek, baby. The way we're going to be determining whether or not to get into the trade is by looking at our indicator, whether you use Market Cipher, which you should, or something else, all right? That's in the Casper crew. What we teach, at least what I teach, we got other instructors there teaching different stuff, right? You use the indicator as your filter as you're coming down to a key level to determine whether or not to pull that trigger, all right? To determine whether or not to pull that trigger. So, these are key supports. Is there a chance that we do a 2024 from this area? There's always a chance. There's always a chance, which is why I have to just reiterate the fact that yes, I am bullish. Yes, I am long. Yes, I'm looking for higher targets. Yes, I'm looking for higher prices on Bitcoin. Yes, I'm looking for a breakout of this range. But it's not guaranteed. And the job of a trader is not to make predictions. If you are looking to trade, especially leverage trading, not talking about spot, and you think that it's about making predictions, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're going to lose all your money. Trading is about being prepared for anything to happen, knowing where are the key levels of support if we get a big dump, where are the key levels of resistance if we get a big pump, and then planning for how you are going to react when the price comes to one of those levels. Because here's the deal. Most of the time, the move has already happened, right? Right now, this move has pretty much already happened. We reclaim $90,000. We come up to value area high. This move already happened. Now, if you were following along, if you're in the Casper crew, we longed this level, target up here, simply because we were prepared for a potential move to happen. And we saw something that told us to get into a long trade as we were coming to this area, right? We didn't predict it. We said if the price can reclaim the value area low and we see certain things on our indicator, then we have a trade. All right, same right now. We're saying if the price comes to this level and we see certain things, then we know we have a long trade. All right, if the price comes to this level and we see certain things, then we know we have a long trade. If the price comes to that level and we don't see certain things, we know we don't have a long trade. It makes it very simple. It takes the pressure off. And it allows you to be relaxed and not chase the price around the dang chart, just waiting for the price to come to one of your pre-planned levels. That's the way to do it if you are looking to actually trade. All right. And again, if you want to learn more about this, check out the free course on my YouTube channel. All right, check it out. We've got 9 out of 18 sessions uploaded right now. We're going to be uploading more this week. All right, check it out. Also, if you want to join the Casper crew where we gave the long from 86 in advance, check out jasoncaspertrading.com. All right, also, make sure to check out BLOFIN for centralized exchange, best deals, and ANTARCTIC exchange, decentralized exchange, best deals. All right? Oof, man. Okay, so right now, let's talk about what's happening in the moment here. And by the way, in approximately an hour, give or take, we are going to be doing a VIP live stream in the Casper crew, going over our low time frame setups and plans for the week. All right. So right now, here's what's going on. The Bitcoin price currently, it's like an hour and a half before New York open, we have wrecked all the shorts. We've wrecked all the weekend liquidity, taking out all the lows from Saturday, all this disgusting looking Saturday price action. And we are currently holding above the value area low of the range. As long as we hold 102.6, very high fever, then this is actually looking kind of nice. It's looking a little bit bullish, all right? We've got some bullish divergences here on our 12-minute time frame. It's not looking the best, but nonetheless, they're there. We have bullish divs on our 24-minute money flow momentum, looking nicer on the 24-minute. As long as we hold this level, that's actually bullish. Why? For 3 reasons. Reason number 1, it's a trend line. Reason number 2, locally speaking, ever since last Thursday, anything below this blue line is considered undervalued Bitcoin. So it's coming to undervalue. We're seeing a nice bounce. We're seeing some bullish divergence. This is the line in the sand. Okay, of course, New York's about to open. So the volatility usually comes in as New York opens. So this right here, 102.6, very key level. We hold above, looking good. All right, we start making lower lows. Then I expect us to come back down towards the $100,600 zone. We lose that, I am looking for us to come back down to 97,000. All right. And that's pretty much the 3 areas of support to be aware of. What about to the upside? Well, we are very close to a breakout, and when we break out of big ranges such as this, okay, it's the blah, 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 blah. Usually we have a big follow through. All right, we usually have a very big follow through, a big push to the upside, just like what happened when we broke out of this range, right? We finally broke out of the range. We didn't get a fake out. It was months in the range. We got a big push to the upside. All right, so I expect if we come above $109,000, we get a big push to the upside. We might, you know, come up, get a little bit of a wick, continue with this little thing, but eventually, yeah, I think we're gonna break out, see new all-time highs. So it's difficult to say where's the next big short trade gonna come, because, you know, the last obvious opportunity for a short trade was back here when we just simply established a high locally and then did a stop hunt. Right now, I don't think we have that anymore. All right, I don't think we have that anymore. So for me, that's why my next target here is going to be around $117,000 Bitcoin. Why 117,000? It's a Fibonacci target. And I'm not telling anybody to short that, actually. This is simply just a target for my long trades. Honestly, that's where my next TP is. If we take from the bear market bottom to the 2021 bull market top to the to that last bear market bottom that we got here, all right, you can see basically that, hang on, our fib targets were number one, $100,000, just 98K, beautiful. Our next target is 120K. So for me, 117,000 is basically going to allow me to front run that key fib level, all right. So I'm just going based off these key fib levels here, Fibonacci extension levels. The $100,000 one was respected very well. If you see, our first wick down from that fib level actually did give us about a 10%, little bit of a move to the downside. Also, the 786 fib right around here is where we pretty much found our resistance, right? And so that's around the area I'd be looking for our next resistance to come in, right? The next major fib target. Now, is there, well, yeah. That's basically what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking for upon a breakout. Another big push. If we don't get another high, then I am prepared for simply continuing to trade the sideways range that we have been in, sadly, guys, since November, okay? Which is outlined by these white lines here. All right. It would be quite sad, but it would be very similar to what happened in last year, where we had our range, you know, we took the lows of the range like this, looked very bullish. We came in, we got the back test, things looking great. But then the Fibonacci 886 comes in and smashes our hopes and dreams to smithereens, okay? Smashes our hopes and dreams to smithereens, and we actually come back down to the bottom of the range again. All right, so in the case of a very bearish scenario, we're rejecting from the 886, we could come all the way back down to the bottom of the range, the low 70s, all right, and we'd have a bearish summer, and then the fall would really pick up. Very similar to what we saw in 2024, where we had a very bearish summer, June, July, August, and then September comes around, bam, all right? Very similar to even what we saw in 2023, the bearish summer, you know, June, July, August, and then September comes around, boom, all right? So this is something we also need to be prepared for. Do I want this to happen? No. I don't. I'd rather see the gains now. I want altcoin season to come now. I want to sell my altcoins in May. Or maybe June. I want altcoin season to come. I want to sell ETH at new all-time highs. You know, I'm trying to make some serious money this cycle. You know, I'm running this cycle. We're running trend. We're running test. Running all that good stuff. Anavar, Clen, we're running all the good stuff this cycle. We're trying to make some serious gains this cycle. All right? But that is something just to be aware of here. Now remember, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Remember what happened in the last range. Basically, we did get what... okay, so look, again, the only reason we're going through this stuff is so we can be prepared and look at patterns. What was the pattern of the last range here? The pattern was we had a low, right, established. Then we got a fake out. It looked really nice, really bullish, but unfortunately we make a lower high into the 886. Then we get this big dump. Where's the dump come down to? It comes down literally to the dollar of the top of the previous range, okay? If this pattern plays out again, then it's looking really good. We had our low, we had our fake out, if we make a lower low, where could we come down to? The top of the previous range, which we did not hit on that first low. And in addition, as many of us know, the top of that previous range is going to be our Fibonacci golden pocket as well. All right. So we have a major support untapped down below here. And this is something we need to keep our eyes on. What's going to be our first hint that this is a possibility, right? Because anyone can look at the high time frames and say, aha, yeah, it could happen. What would be our first hint of this happening? Our first hint of this legitimately happening would be a something like this, all right? A back test of $97,000. All right, the Fibonacci golden pocket, the high volume node, all that stuff. All right, a back test of $97,000, and then seeing a lower high come in. So something like this, where we've switched the trend, right? We're continuously making higher highs and higher lows this whole way up. So if we now are not just going to get a simple fake out, but actually come and close candles below this level, this is telling us, okay, we just made a lower low, and then we get our bounce, and we reject from the Fibonacci golden pocket, all right? We reject from 103, 104 with bearish divergence here. Like, let's say this happens, we come back up, we get a bounce, and we're seeing more bearish divergences here. This honestly could give us a hint that it's very probable that we're coming back down towards 90K, and then potentially even lower, right? Because we don't really know how low it could go, but this would actually be our first hint. We come down, we get a bounce, everyone gets bullish again, we come here with bearish divs, and we see a short setup here. That, honestly, if this happens, I would take this short trade, something like this, and obviously we hit our take profit once at the bottom of the range, but we keep a runner, we keep a runner, we keep a runner just in case, right? That's really how the best way to determine if this is going to happen, right? You don't have to rush it. You kind of wait and see what happens. All right, we're getting a bounce from here. Let's see what happens when we come for our retest, right? So we don't have to be scared right now. We don't have to rush right now. We haven't changed bearish market structure right now. We can relax right now. Things still bullish right now. But this week's going to be very important, because when we get these pumps and bull flags, they last like 10 to 13 days. This one here, about 9 days. All right, this one right here, about 13 days. This one we're in right now has been going on for about 10 days, right? So today, tomorrow, Wednesday is going to be the day where we expect this thing to make a decision, this bull flag, determine whether or not it's going to break out or get the breakdown, all right? Now, personally for me, what I hope for is I hope for the fake out. I hope for the fake out, and then boom, right? Because we've had a lot of bearish news coming in over the weekend. See how the stock market's doing, actually. Stock market's holding pretty well, actually. Very curious to see how the New York Open is going to open here. Stock market's holding pretty dang well. Holding pretty well. Just a little bit of a dump. NASDAQ currently taking the low of its range, trying to get a push to the upside. NASDAQ looking like it's trying to do a fake out. It's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be very interesting to see how New York opens up. Now, here's the thing. We only got 400 likes in here, and we got 1,300, almost 1,400 viewers. All right. Smash up the likes. Let's see if we can't get 1,000 likes in the next 5 minutes, and we'll do a giveaway. How about an entry plan for a short to 97K? We're going to go over it in the Casper Crew VIP Discord in about an hour, guys. All right, low time frame setups, VIP only, all right? VIP only. Shout out to Randy. Would love everyone's thoughts on this. I haven't sold spots since 2021. Instead, I leverage trade and continue to buy with profits. That's cool, man. That's great. That's great for a long-term strategy. What if it pumps opening and then fakes us? If it pumps opening and fakes us, I highly doubt that we would take this high. All right, I highly doubt we would take the high, but there's definitely going to be an opportunity for a pump and dump short setup. All right, for sure. For sure. That's a real possibility here. Yes, yes, talk.exe is glitchy this morning. Well, I'm on a Mac, so we don't use exe files, but same deal. All right. You know? All right, shout out to Trickster TV. Shout out to Board PC Guy. Shout out to Hopium Copium. Takeouts lead to breakouts. Hopium Copium says, Moon Boys, prepare. Joe says, lifting heavy weights and watching Casper in the office. Perfect start to the day. That's what's up, bro. I used to have my trading thing on the in the gym as well. Shout out to Memory Man. 10 scenarios. Yes, exactly, Adam. Exactly. See again, Adam. If you're a trader, what you should be doing is preparing for multiple scenarios, okay? We cannot be predictors. Think about it this way, okay? Can you control where the Bitcoin price goes? No. Can you make accurate predictions? Maybe you can, but even if you're a trader, an accurate prediction doesn't take into account low-term volatility. You might be right about your bullish or bearish bias, but even still, you might get stopped out of your trade because you couldn't account for the low-term volatility. What can you control? You can control analyzing the chart and knowing where the key levels of support or resistance are, up to 10 levels, where if the price gets there, we're likely to get a move. All right? That's what you can control. What else can you control? You can control planning for what you would like the chart or the indicator to look like at those key levels in order to get into a trade. You can control that. You gotta, when it comes to trading, you have to really focus on the things you can control and ignore the things you can't control. Okay? And so if you're prepared for 10 scenarios, then you have 10 opportunities to take a trade, and you don't have to chase the price. Like probably everyone who longed the dang breakout here with the FOMO, right? This is how I like to trade, all right? Long setup. Clear. We were bullish. We had a setup. If the price comes to this local zone and we see bullish divergence, 12 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes, then we take a trade, okay? If then scenarios with your confirmations, that's how you're going to do this over the long term. All right? You come in here with one scenario and one prediction. Come on, man. How are you going to do that long term successfully? Especially if you can't account for short-term volatility. You know? So this is something, in my opinion, this is I don't know, maybe you're different, but this is my edge in the market, is not making predictions and coming up with multiple scenarios and thinking about what I would do in that scenario, right? It's just like anything else. You know, you're a security guard, you know, you take self-defense classes. You know, what would you do if you were in a situation where such and such happens? Some guy comes in the room with a gun, starts waving it around. Your wife and kids are there. What do? You got to think about that stuff in advance. Otherwise, you're there, you don't know what to do. You make a fool. Lives could be on the line in that situation. Thankfully, in trading, lives aren't on the line. But you got to practice these things. You got to prepare. All right? You've got to prepare. You've got to plan to win. Preparing for war. He's always prepared, man. It says so right in the name. All right. Shout out to Crypto Scarface. 97 million. $97 million Bitcoin coming on in. All right. $97 million Bitcoin coming on in. Do we have 1,000 likes? Dang, it's been 5 minutes, not 1,000 likes. All right. Here's what we'll do, guys. We'll give it another 3 minutes. Get 1,000 likes, we'll do a giveaway. All right? 1,000 likes in 3 minutes, we'll do a giveaway. Let's see if we can't get it. What do I think of buying from 102 to 105? Could be a great day trade in my opinion. Let's check out our market cipher again here. Oof. I do have to say that it looks like we're going to get a drive to the downside. Looks like we're going to get a move down here, just based on our 12-minute money flow getting lower. Doesn't look like we're going to have a nice money flow divergence if we take this low again. All right. Doesn't look like it. Let's see if we have any key news today. What day is today? Monday the 18th? Monday the 19th? We don't really have any important news coming in. All right. We don't really have any important news coming in. Is 98 coming? It could. It could. Let's see what happens if we lose. First, we got to lose 100.6. All right. 12-hour blood diamond. Interesting. Let's check that out. Let's check it out. Check it out. Check out that 12-hour BD. All right. We got a BD on the 12H. A BD on the 12H. BD on the 12H, man. BD on the 12H. U.S. economy debt downgraded. I don't see it. Maybe it's on Hike and Ashy candles. No, I don't see it. Oh wait, this. I'm sorry. This is a 12-day. Hang on. Let's get to the 12H. Here we go. I don't see it on Hike and Ashy. Maybe it's on normal. No, I don't see a blood diamond. That's just a normal red diamond. A blood diamond is one of these guys over here. Okay, that's a blood diamond. This ain't no blood diamond. There's no blood in that diamond. There's no blood in that diamond. There's no blood in that diamond. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna head out. We're gonna continue this in the VIP Casper crew live stream in about 45 minutes. If you want to get in on that, join the community, jasoncaspertrading.com. That being said, God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.